Welcome back to the rest of section 3. You are going to now be given information, and today we're going to combine the last 2 days, and you're going to decide, is this y equals mx plus b, or is this 2 points? And then I have a column for each. So whatever you decide is you'll use the appropriate column. So we're still in the same eligible content. Example 1, the cost of a school banquet is $95 plus $15 for every person attending. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to highlight this for each. When you see something every or per, that's going to tell you that that's automatically the slope. It's every person attending. And then that right there is going to tell you what x is going to represent. All right. So I am going to say that we have a beginning value, which is like the initial cost. That's your y-intercept. So that's your b value. And then we have a slope. So this one is ready for y equals mx plus b, which means we do this column. So we're not going to be doing the right column. We're going to be doing the left column. So I saw that it said it's the upwards price of 15 for every person plus that base fee of $95. So this was not 2 points. There's not enough information for 2 points. And now it's time to say what X stands for. Remember how it was $15 for each person? That means X stands for the number of people attending. And the Y stands for the total cost. So this whole equation tells us what y is, which is the total cost. Okay? So it says the cost of a school banquet. So that's our total cost. So again, we're not going to be doing anything on this side because I wasn't given 2 points. It's not like, hey, 12 people attended and it cost this much. 20 people attended and it cost this much. Nope, we had a straight up slope and a straight up y-intercept. Now it's time to graph it. So I can graph this one of two ways. I can find a couple of points and plot them and connect them. Or since this is y equals mx plus b, I'm going to go to the b value of 95 and put my first dot. Let's see what these are skipping by. So I see this is going to be 160, this is going to be 170, this is going to be 180, and this is going to be 190, which makes this line right here, that's where your 200 is. So my beginning value was just a 95. Whoops, I should have gone here. There, I'm sorry, that was 195. So just 95, that's where I should have gone. So my beginning value, oh darn it, that was 90. I apologize to keep changing that. Maybe just rewind. I'm so sorry. These were skipping by 10. So this is 60, 70, 80, and 90. But my beginning value is at 95. So I'm going to put my beginning value, boop, 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 right there at 95. Now the slope is a positive 15 and over 1. So the slope is up 15 and over 1. So let's see, what am I skipping by on die here? I'm skipping by ones. I'm going to go up 15. Are you ready for this? Take a look and watch me do it, please. Up 15. 5, 10, 15 over 1. 5, 10, 15 over 1. 5, 10, 15 over 1. And I'm going over 1 because these are counting by ones on those thicker lines. So I'm going to grab my line tool, and the price is going to continue to go up for this banquet. So I'm going to grab my y-intercept, draw an arrowhead going to the right because it will always continue up, connect my 3 dots. So right here, right here, right here, 4 dots because of my y-intercept. And I got to put my labels on. So I'm going to label this as the total cost because this time I didn't. You have to do the labels yourself. And then that was what y represented. And down here, this is the number of people attending. So I'm going to do number of people attending, or just number of people. Did I label my axes? Yes, I did. Did I draw an arrowhead if needed? I did. What is the cost of 10 people? Well, if I remember, X represented people. Remember that up here? X represented people. So 10 is going to go in for X. So I'm going to have Y equals, remember how it was 15X plus 95? Well, it's going to be Y equals 15 times 10 plus 95. There's no fancy solving here. You can just kind of put this in your calculator. That's 150 plus 95, which is going to be $245. So the statement will be if 10 people go, the cost is $245. Please pause the video and rewind if you need to. Moving on to the next problem. A large factory sells its new gadgets for $5 each. Oh, if it sells them for $5 each, it can sell 100 items a month. However, if it sells the same gadgets for $9, it will sell 340. Can you see how I have four numbers in this problem? That's going to be one of those dead giveaways that you are given 2 points. So our problem is about our gadgets and our price of our gadgets and how many we're selling. So it sounds like the price is driving the sales. So like whatever you price them at is what the sale will be. So X is going to stand for the price and Y is going to stand for how many I can sell. How many are sold? So if I sell them for $5, it looks like we'll be able to sell 100 units. However, I'm going to my next circle. If I sell them for $9, I will be able to sell 340 units. Now it's time to go to my slope. Remember, slope are the y values over the x values. So 100 take away 340 and 5 take away 9. Well, 100 take away 340 is negative 240. 5 take away 9 is negative 4. Dividing these on your calculator will give you an answer of 60. I think it might be good for you to see that. So I'm going to pull my calculator over while you're probably still trying to write that down. Please feel free to slow me down. You can go to YouTube and go to the settings wheel and you can change this to 0.75 speed if needed. So we can see that our slope is 60. By the way, that is how many you can sell for every price that you change it. Okay? All right. So for what, okay, here we go. So we are going to do y minus y1. As indicated yesterday, it does not matter which point you pick, so I'll just pick that one. So it's y minus 340 equals m, which was from step 4, times x minus 9. Because again, I was picking the purple highlight, I put in the purple numbers, okay? And then this 60 became my slope. Now, that's good in point slope form, but I do have it written there real lightly that we need to solve this to get it into y equals mx plus b. Okay? Oops, sorry, my pen's kind of lagging. So I'm going to keep y minus 340 just like I did yesterday. I'm going to distribute to get 60x, take away 540, and I need to get y by itself. So add 340 to each side. That gives you y equals 60x plus, actually, I think it's going to be minus. So it's negative 540 plus 340 is a total of negative 200. I was noticing some weaknesses with some of my students yesterday doing this. So please look at my calculator on the side to verify how I got the minus 200. Now it's time to graph this. Well, you might notice the hey Langeli, this graph does not go down to negative 200. So I can't graph my y-intercept. I'm not doing it. But you can do this, I promise. You can do this by plotting your 2 points. So you remember how our 2 points were 5, 100 and 9, 340? Let's plot those points. So let's go over 5. Here's 5. And let's go up to 100 and plot that point. So that first point is right here. My next point happens at 9. So here's my line for 9. Oop, that did not want to work, did it? Here's my line for 9. And it said 9 goes all the way to 340. I'm plotting these right here in case you're struggling. So 340, I might want to zoom in here. 310, 320, 330, 340. So that's this point right here. 340 came from over here. If you're struggling to see it, I drew the line for you. 2 points makes a line. I'm pretty darn confident about my line, so I'm going to connect them on this end. but I'm not going to go through my x-intercept because I cannot go negative. Then I'm going to connect them from this end, and it looks like this will increase forever. I did not label my axes yet. I was about to do my checkbox. Let's see, what was y? Y was how many we sold. So I'm going to go right here, I'm going to do number sold. And then the x-axis was, what was x? The price that, the where we priced them. The price of an, or what were they? A gadget. The price of a gadget. Okay. So I labeled my axes. I drew my arrow. What would the price be if the cost was $7? Well, what is cost? Cost. Oh, this should not say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to redo that. So anybody at home, that looks really confusing. Not what was the price be if the cost. I should have said, I apologize, this will change on your notes. I'm sorry, that will be different. On your notes, it will say, how many can be sold? There you go. That will be fixed when you get yours. How many can be sold if the cost was $7? So that's going to be in for x. So I'm going to put 7 in for x. Y equals 6x, what was it? 6dx, excuse me. Take away 200. So it's going to be y equals 60 times 7, take away 200. And this is not, there's no fancy solving here. You can just put that in your calculator. That's 420, take away 200. Final answer of 220 when you subtract. My statement will be, if the cost or if the price is $7, then we will sell 220 gadgets. Why do I feel like I'm spelling gadgets wrong? Nope, I'm good. All right, again, feel free to pause the video and catch up or slow me down. The next one. A sunflower in Julia Rosaro's garden is 12 centimeters tall when it was first planted. Then it has grown approximately 0.6 centimeters a day. Write an equation expressing the sunflower's height in terms of the number of days that it was planted. Well, I can see a beginning value. That's the b value in y equals mx plus b. And I see this word each day. And also, can you notice that we were only given 2 pieces of information? That's going to be a dead giveaway that it's y equals mx plus b. So I see my slope there. So I know that my initial value is 12 centimeters, and I know every day, every per day, it's growing 6.6 centimeters. So because it says 6 centimeters, take a look at my highlight, per day, that means X stands for day. And then Y is going to have to stand for, tall. How tall it is altogether. So the total height. You can just write how tall if you want. In this problem, they did not want X and Y though, so we do need to correct that. They wanted us to use H for height instead of Y, and they want us to use D for day instead of X. So I did correct it for them. So we have 0.6 centimeters per day starting at 12, and that will give you the height. We do not need to fill this side in because we were not given two points. So when I graph this, I need to go to 12, which is right here. Now this is kind of silly. How do you go up 0.6 and over 1? Well, you use your calculator. 0.6 as a fraction, we've done this many times. Whoopsie doopsie. Why is it doing that? Clear. 0.6. Math. Enter. There we go. Is 3 over 5, guys. So you can change that to a fraction from a decimal. So I can go, let me see what I'm skipping by, ones on all accounts. I can go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you have a decimal and you're not sure how to use it, you can just change it to a fraction. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can see our sunflower is growing. So this axis, the y-axis, is the height of my sunflower. And what is our x-axis? It is how many days have passed. Now it will ask the question, did we label our axes? Did we draw an arrow? And last, how many days after being planted is it 24 centimeters tall? Well, that is a height. It is not a day. So 24 goes in for H. I had H equals 0.6x plus 12. If you remember from my equation, I apologize. It was 0.6d because they didn't want me to use x. And now I'm going to take away my h and put in 24. We'll have to work for this one a little harder than we have for the others because d is not isolated like the others were. So minus 12 and minus 12, we were taught, is 12 equals 0.6d. Divide by 0.6, divide by 0.6. Now I'll use a calculator because you never know what I might come up with. And we get 20 equals D. So my statement will be, in 20 days, I should have capitalized in. In 20 days, it will be, what were they asking about? 24 centimeters tall. And I'll try to get a statement there for you guys. All right, everybody, we are almost done here. We just have to do a quick little review of stuff we learned in Chapter 8, simplifying polynomials. So this is an adding sign, so you're just going to combine your like terms, nothing fancy, okay? Same thing on your homework. So we have to find things that have the same exponent. So x to the fourth and 7x to the fourth. So this is a negative 1 plus 7. So that is going to give me a positive 6x to the fourth. Next, how about an x to the fifth? Well, that's the only one I see, so I'm going to throw it out here. Remember, we put the highest exponent first. How about x to the third? Ooh, I've got 2 of them. So I got to think, what does 6 plus 6 make? That makes 12x to the third, positive. All right, let's see what else I've forgotten. I haven't touched this plus 5x squared. It's the only one I have left, so he's just going to get thrown in the back. So add the coefficients when it's an adding problem. Now let's do a multiplying problem. You guys were so good at these when we were studying them. This is a multiplying problem, so we do the arcs like such, okay? So I'm going to do one arc at a time. Not that arc, though. That arc. 2 times 4 is 8, and that's going to be x to the third because of the 1 plus the 2. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12, x to the second because of x and x. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20, x squared because the 4 had an x squared. Negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30, x to the first because the 6 had an x to the first. Combine those like terms right there. Those two have x squared. So keep your 8x to the third. That's a horrible color, so I'll just do this. Negative 12 and negative 20 makes negative 32, x to the second. Don't change the exponent. And don't forget about that little lonely 30x in the back. Tonight, your homework will have the exact same. 3 word problems. You'll have to choose if there are 2 points or if there are a slope and a y-intercept. And then it will have 2 polynomial reviews as well. Have a great day.